Hello, I'm Jimmy Chan and welcome back to episode 3 of Canon Light to Ink Masterclass series. Today I'll be showing you how I edit my photos on Lightroom. If you have missed the previous 2 episodes previously, you can click on the link above to check them out. Today I'll be showing you some of my workflow for Lightroom tutorial. So I'll be going through basic adjustments, color adjustments, and some detail corrections. So let's get right into it. Okay, so today I'll be demonstrating on this photo right here. So I shot this photo in in Nepal when I was doing the errors-based cam track. So I'll show you how I got this photo from this after and before. So I'll show you how I do some adjustments to change this to this. Right, so today we'll be covering basic adjustments first. Okay, so basic adjustments. So if you look under the basic adjustment tab, you can see exposure, contrast, highlight, shadows, white and blacks. These are your basic light adjustments. I'll usually go with this first. Based on the photo, you can see that it's actually quite overexposed. There's actually harsh lighting behind the subject. So in order to correct this, I'll usually decrease the exposure. There is no right or wrong. There's no exact amount that you should be adjusting it to. A lot of my editing goes by feel. So for now, I just change it to -0.6. So next will be the contrast. So contrast is essentially just playing the contrast of the photo. Because there is such a high exposure and high light element to the photo, right? Increasing your contrast actually masks your subject. For example, if I increase it to 20, you can actually see the details of my subject is lost. So in this case, I'll just decrease my contrast to reveal a bit of details of my subjects. -10 will do. So next will be highlights. So highlights is essentially just reducing the light of the photo, the highlights of the photo. So by adjusting a highlight here, it's actually to adjust your background light. So if I decrease it, you can see that the details are regained. I'm recovering the details in the background. You can see the buildings in the background. So I'll just keep it to -50 to reveal a bit of the background. Bear in mind that the initial adjustment is just to get a feel of how you want your photo to be. You can always adjust it towards the end. So next, I want to expose my subjects. So by increasing the shadows, I can actually recover the details of my subjects. So take a look at this. You can see the details that are not under the sun is actually recovering. So let's go back to 0. If I increase it to 50, you can see the left side, the details are coming back. And my subject face is properly exposed now. I'll just leave it at 50 for now. So for whites, you can actually see that I'm just adjusting the parts that are exposed by the sun. If you look at the ground, this area, you can actually by reducing the whites, I'm recovering details on the ground. So for now, I just decrease it all the way back. Alright, next is blacks. So it's the opposite of white. You are controlling the details that are not under the sun. So by decreasing your blacks, you actually bring contrast to the areas that is not in the light. So usually I will just reduce it enough just to bring details and contrast. So -40 will do for now. Yeah, -40. Alright, next is under the presence tab. You can see textures, clarity, and dehaze. So this part of my favorite sliders to adjust because it brings details to my subjects. So if I zoom in on the detail on my subject, by playing the texture slider, you can see that you bring back a lot of details, facial details like wrinkles, eyebrows, eye, the glasses he's wearing, even his clothes. But bear in mind that if you over adjust this bar, you will look unnatural, you look overly sharp. So same with clarity as well. I'll usually raise it to 10 to bring all the details back. Okay, so let's see where we are now. So this is before and this is after. You can actually see that I managed to save a lot of details from the harsh lighting from the background and the underexposed shadows. So I'm quite happy with this. So I'll just move on to dehaze. Right, so dehaze is just basically bring your shadows and bring your details back from the shadows, recovering the shadows. So if I actually increase the dehaze slider, essentially it looks like I'm increasing a contrast. But in this case, I might not want to do that because of how underexposed the subject is already. So I just go ahead and adjust it to -15, so it looks well balanced. Right, so this looks quite good already. So there's one more step that I'll usually do for this image. The light here does not give any color because this is just past sunrise, so you don't have that orange hues to your photo, to this light. So what I can do is actually play with the white balance of the photo. So right now it's towards the blue side, the cooler temperature side. So in order to give it a more warm tones to it, you can increase the temperature slider to the right. So by increasing the slider, you can see that I'm adding more warm tones to the photo. So it makes it look like it's very early in the morning when the sun is rising. It looks a bit better already. So compared to your cooler white balance. Okay, this is a bit warm, so I'll just decrease it a little bit to balance things out. Okay, so that's it for the basic light adjustment section. Alright, so what I've managed to do so far is just to play around with the basic adjustments. What I've done is to recover the details that were underexposed, to bring down the exposure from the harsh lighting, and basically just balance the whole photo and add a warm orange tone to my photo. And that's important because it brings everything together for the first step. So bear in mind that you don't have to follow a set of rules. Editing is all on your own. It's how creative you are. It's just that you can control the settings at the end of the photo. So there's no right or wrong in doing so. So next is color adjustment. This is the most important part of editing, in my opinion, because it brings out vibrancy, it adds dimension to your photo. It makes your photo stand out. You bring out the details and the colors of your subject and the surroundings. So let's get back to the color adjustments. Okay, next, we are looking at the color adjustments of this tutorial. So here you can see hues, saturation, and luminance. So hue is just playing with the different shades of red, different shades of orange, yellow, green, aqua, blue, purple, and magenta. So I'll usually adjust all the colors because I have no idea what it affects. So I'll start the red first. Whatever feels comfortable, you just adjust the slider. There's no accurate color, or there's no accurate measurements for this. So I'll start with the reds first. So by decreasing the red, it's actually moving towards the pink color, and moving to the right is actually more towards the orange color. Bear in mind that when you're playing with this slider, you're actually changing the skin tones of your subject as well, because the skin tone it belongs to the red and orange rich orange color. Adjusting this red hue will also affect the skin tone. So in order not to go out of color or out of tone, I will not mess around too much with the slider. I'll just bring out some redness of the red. So next is the orange. Same, I'll just go by feel and I won't adjust it too much. As you can see, because the surroundings is orange in color, right? Adjusting this orange hue will actually affect the whole picture, and I don't want that. So I'll just keep it as it is and not touch it. So next, yellow. You can see that surrounding is also yellow in color as well. So by adjusting this, you affect the surroundings. So in order to bring out a bit of yellow, darken the yellow a bit, I'll just decrease it slightly to -10 or -15. So I just keep it as -15 for now. So let's do the same for the rest. There's nothing much in the green, so I'll just leave it. Aqua, nothing. Let's keep it at 0, 0, blue. It's just a flex on top. I'll not bother with it as well. Purple, blue, just keep it at blue, -30. And purple, since it doesn't affect much, I'll just leave it as it is. Alright, next is the saturation. It's just the intensity of the color you are trying to adjust. So to bring out the clothes that the monk is wearing, I'll just increase it then. Not too much. If you increase, for example, if I increase it to 100, if I increase it too much, you'll stand out too much and it won't look natural. So I'll just bring it to 10. And orange, I want it to be more intense in orange because most of the photo comprises of mainly orange. So I'll just bring it to, say, 35. I'm going by feel here, so you can always adjust it at the end of photo. So try not to be bothered by how much you're adjusting initially. Just go with feel for now. So I want the overall photo to be warm, so I'll just increase it more on the orange and yellow slider. So there's not much green in this photo, so you don't have to worry so much. So just maybe aqua as well, blue as well. Oh, blue is in the background, the houses in the background, you can see. So you might want to be careful. So I'll just decrease it. Same with purple, there's not much purple in here. Magenta. So I'll usually just decrease it 100, -100, it doesn't matter anyways. So for the luminance, it actually bring out the brightness of the colors. So I want the clothes of the monk to stand out, so I'll just increase it slightly more to increase the intensity or brightness of the reds. So there. And same as orange. So for orange, because the most of the photo is comprised of orange color, by increasing your orange luminance, you might also increase the exposure of the whole photo. So you might not want to increase too much. So just briefly will do. Same with yellows. Yeah, I can actually see the background. If I increase the yellow slider too much, you look overly exposed. If I decrease it too little, you'll look a bit weird. So just a little bit will do. Right, so green, there's not much. It's just the trees in the background. Just decrease it slightly to create a bit of contrast. Same with the aqua, same with the blues. Right. So we are done with the color part. Let's look at the before and after. Let's compare what we have done. So over here you can just switch it off, and over here you can switch it back up. So you can actually see I added more intensity to the orange and red. Yeah. So that's the part on the color adjustments. So to recap what we have done, so I managed to bring out the intensity of colors of my subject, so making him stand out. And I also make my surroundings a bit warmer, so give it an overall vibe to the picture I'm trying to create. Okay, so next is the detail adjustments. So in this adjustment, you are adjusting the sharpness of the photo and also reduce noise. And this is especially important for low light photography when you're printing as well. So because when you're printing your work, a little bit of noise will be quite obvious in your photo. So we are trying to adjust it here. So let's move on to detail adjustments. Alright, so essentially we want to sharpen your image. For sharpening, just keep in mind that if you over sharpen, the rest of your image will be sharpened as well. So in order to reduce over sharpen, right? So let's move on to sharpen first. So I'll increase it normally to say 60. So one trick in mind is you can see the masking slider here. To know what you are actually masking, just press Option for Mac or Control for PC. And when you move your slider, whatever is in white will be the ones that you're sharpening. So the black parts will be the one that you're not sharpening. So sometimes when you sharpen, you don't want to sharpen the whole photo, you just want to sharpen a few parts. So by looking at this function, right, you can tell that what you're sharpening. So 20 will do, and you can really tell the difference when I sharpen. So if I go back to before and after, you can see that I brought back quite a bit of details on my subjects. Right, so noise reduction. Because I shot this photo in ISO 200, my noise level is not that high, so I don't have to reduce a lot of noise. So actually, if you move your noise reduction level too high, you can actually tell that you're actually smoothing the details of your subject. So you'll lose all the details that you covered early on. So for this case, there's no need to increase so much. So I'll just move it to 10 will do. Right. So that's all for the detail adjustments part. So this is the end of the tutorial. I hope you learned something so far. You can actually apply these techniques on your own photos by following the basic adjustment, color, and detail adjustments that I've taught you earlier. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week, where I'll be printing my photo using the Canon Pro 500 printer. See you guys next week.
Canon, delighting you always.